The country is losing in its effort to contain the coronavirus. For the first time, the nation saw more than 50,000 cases in a single day yesterday. That is the highest daily number since the pandemic began. Most of those cases came from 3 states. California led the way with nearly 10,000 new cases, followed by Texas and Florida. At least 22 states have either paused or rolled back their initial reopening plans. Carter Evans is in hard-hit California with more.
We were able to bend the curve in the state of California. We're going to bend this curve again.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is shutting down indoor service at bars, restaurants, wineries, and movie theaters in 19 of California's 58 counties, affecting nearly 3/4 of the state's 40 million residents. In the last 2 weeks, coronavirus cases in California are up more than 48%, and statewide hospitalizations are up more than 50%. And the University of Southern California announced most fall undergraduate classes will be conducted online, affecting more than 20,000 students. At least 18 states have now paused or rolled back reopening plans, including New York, which is delaying the return of indoor dining in New York City in response to outbreaks across the country.
Indoors is the problem more and more. The science is showing it more and more.
Accelerating cases in Arizona prompted a visit from Vice President Mike Pence, seen here wearing a mask.
We wanted to be here to get a report from the ground.
COVID-related deaths and hospitalizations in Arizona hit all-time highs Wednesday with a record of more than 4,800 new coronavirus cases. And the virus is tearing apart the families of people like Leslie Lopez.
They should have never reopened knowing that there's still a pandemic going on.
Lopez lost her husband Basilio last Thursday. She says at one point his fever got as high as 108 degrees.
I told him, when you get home, I'm going to buy you a really nice cold beer, and he nodded yes. And then it just broke my heart because then he started crying, and we just all started crying, and that was the last time that we actually talked to him or saw him.
Basilio Lopez had 5 children and 1 grandchild, and his family doesn't know how he got the virus, but they're pleading with people now to follow public health guidelines, if not for your own safety, then for the safety of others in your community.
June's jobs report is showing some positive signs of economic recovery during the pandemic. The Labor Department reports the U.S. added 4.8 million jobs in June. The unemployment rate dropped to 11.1%, which is still the worst since the Great Depression. However, the survey was taken mid-month prior to this surge of cases and reopening reversals in the South and West in the last 2 weeks. This morning, the president spoke without taking questions for about 10 minutes. He praised the job numbers, claiming the economy is on the rise.
Today's announcement proves that our economy is roaring back. It's coming back extremely strong. We have some areas where we're putting out the flames or the fires, and that's working out well. We're working very closely with governors, and I think it's working out very well. I think you'll see that shortly.
The president again blamed China for the economic downturn. He once again falsely said the coronavirus is going away. Joe Biden, the presumptive Democratic nominee, responded to the president's remarks about the economy.
A million more Americans millions of them would still have their job if Donald Trump had done his job. And many of the jobs that have now come back should never have been lost in the first place. And for everyone whose job hasn't come back, for everyone who doesn't own stock, who can't get the sweetheart loan through connections, does this feel like a victory? For parents who are worried their kids can't go back to school in the fall, do you feel like this is mission accomplished? Or for the people in states where COVID-19 is spiking and we're seeing record high numbers of infections, do you feel like this crisis is under control? Of course not.
As CBS News White House correspondent Ben Tracy reports, Mr. Trump is facing pressure from Republicans to push Americans to wear a mask.
I think we're going to be very good with the coronavirus. I think that at some point that's going to sort of just disappear, I hope.
President Trump is repeating the same thing he said 4 months ago.
It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
He's hoping that it will disappear, the president's strategy at this point.
He's confident that he's put together a revolutionary, first-class team that is going to break through bureaucracy and get us a vaccine.
But Dr. Anthony Fauci has warned that America is headed towards 100,000 cases per day, and that we are still months away from a vaccine.
Wear a mask.
To slow the spread, the coronavirus task force is begging Americans to wear masks.
If we didn't test,
The president has refused to wear one in public, except for when he was required to while visiting a Ford plant in Michigan. But after pressure from Republican lawmakers and Fox News, the president now says this.
I'm all for masks. I think masks are good. I would wear, if I were in a group of people and I was close.
But he doesn't think they should be mandatory. The president is also commenting for the first time on camera about reports that Russia paid bounties to have American troops killed in Afghanistan.
I think it's a hoax. I think it's a hoax by the newspapers and the Democrats.
But U.S. officials were concerned enough that they shared the information with U.S. forces and